Hello, welcome to another episode of Built by Ben. And obviously, we're at the barn. So, plans are with the architect. We can't really touch the fabric of the building until we've got the go-ahead from building control. Building control need to see the architect's plans before they can do that, so it just leaves us doing all of the clearance and making sites safe, ready to start the work really. It's January now. Happy New Year everyone. We're hoping to get started on this thing properly in April, and there's a lot of enabling works to do before we can do that. So today, just going to show you how we got down the big beams that are on top of the barn, and what we used to do that. Got a new toy. It's an expensive toy, but it's going to be absolutely blinding for this whole project. And hope you enjoy the episode, and if you do, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, that would be nice. And yeah, hope you enjoy these little episodes. I'm enjoying making them at the moment, so that's all good. And you know, I want you all invested in this little journey that we're on. Thanks for the support everyone. Cheers. Right, so you join me on delivery day. We've got a big red beast being delivered. I decided to buy this and one other machine, which I'll show you next week. But I went all the way to Chelmsford to have a look at this thing. Didn't have a clue what I was looking at really, but I just thought I'd go there just to suss the place out and see if I wanted to buy from them. The place is called Jag Plant, JAG Plant, and seemed like a nice guy. Had loads of good machinery there, including this bit. So yeah, special day this one. So this is what I got. It's a Manitou telehandler. But it's a construction one, not a farming one. So it can lift a bit more than usual. Total cost for that was 16,000 including the VAT. And I have also got a bucket which a guy is welding up for me so that I can use it as a dumper as well. But I think that is going to be a very good purchase, even though it's cost a good bit of money. I've done a few builds before, and you need these things all the time. You can move bags of stuff around with it. You can move pallets of stuff around with it, and like I said, I've got a bucket for it so I can use it as a dumper. And I'll show you how we got on with the beams. I'm so glad I decided to invest in this machine so that I could do jobs like this. I was, for a little while, thinking that I might get an aluminium tower up to try and get this beam down, and I'm so glad I didn't. Once we actually got the beam down to hip level and sort of felt the weight of the thing, it must have been over a ton. It's solid oak, it was soaking wet. I think it would have crushed an aluminium tower and probably chucked me on the floor with it. But it was a pretty straightforward lift. It comes straight off the top there because it was also rotten on the ends that nothing was holding it down anymore. So it was straight up, and then we just had to sort of jock it around a bit just to give us enough room to lower it down diagonally, because obviously it was longer than the barn. And then I used my turbo jigsaw, as I call it, the old recip saw, to get through the beams. I'm surprised actually, because it went through there fairly easy. And you can see by the way it hits the floor how much it weighed. And yeah, just really easy job, made easy by this machine. I'm not really meant to be touching the fabric of the building at this stage of the build, however you can if it's to do with site safety. What I didn't want is for these beams to just drop at any point, because they could have. I parked the machines under these, so I didn't want them to drop on the machines, and more importantly on me or the missus or the kids or anyone walking through at the time they decide to go. So I've decided to get these down as a matter of urgency, make site nice and safe. And you know, you've got to make these decisions when you own a site. You've got to take a responsibility for the safety of everyone that enters it, and without being too serious, you want to avoid any accidents at all. You can see with this one, it was actually stuck on a bit of old conduit that was sort of nailed to it and nailed down to the wall. So I had to get up there and hacksaw it down just to get the beam off. But they were quite, these were quite sort of, had to be very careful when I was lifting these off. I wasn't quite sure whether these were still, although they weren't tied down very well, I wasn't sure whether these were actually still doing a job. When you remove anything that connects to walls, you want to be careful that the walls will still do their job without it there. Because that wall that I'm actually climbing up now had a return to it, which you can see behind it, I wasn't too worried about that one. Obviously things are stronger in an L shape, but the front wall in particular I was a bit worried about, because it was quite a big expanse of wall that I was then taking the tie beam off of, so I didn't want that to collapse inwards. Everything seemed nice and strong enough. There was obviously a big pillar there on each side of the opening as well, which will help with the strength, and the walls are quite thick anyway, so don't think I'll have any problems. Hopefully not too many strong winds. You can see there how sort of crumbly these walls are. Brickwork is in quite bad repair on some of this barn. You can see to the right hand side of the picture it isn't too bad. I think that's just going to require, you know, repointing and sort of tidying up a bit, but the left hand side of the opening there is going to need some quite extensive repair. We've been told that we can't repair too much of this wall because it's a grade 2 listed building. The historians want to keep it as original as possible. Once we go over a certain threshold, they'll just class it as a new build and take our planning away from us. So we're a bit of a fine line. We've got to be sensible with what you're doing with it. We're quite interested in keeping the sort of heritage of the place anyway. Obviously some builders are just trying to knock these places down and get a new build up as quick as possible, but we actually want to rescue what we can and repair what we can. We want it looking as old as possible on the outside and then modern on the inside. So that's the look that we've always gone for with our places, and that's what we're going to be going for here. So there we go, that's how we did that bit. And as you can see now, all of those beams are down. We've got a couple more to do through this little opening round here. It's just like a goal post that's still up there. But yeah, one of the many jobs that we've got to do complete. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again for watching. If you can subscribe to the channel, give us a like on the video, and come back next time. Cheers then.